Alexa, open WikiHow.
Okay, here's WikiHow. Hi, ask me how to do anything.
How to take care of a wild squirrel.
How to take care of a wild squirrel. To take care of a wild squirrel, start by creating a shelter out of a small box, like a shoe box. Next, fill the box with old cotton or fleece clothing to act as nesting material. Then, feed your squirrel a balanced diet of commercial squirrel food, which you may have to order online. If the squirrel is a baby or if it's injured, don't try to feed or rehabilitate it yourself. Instead, take the squirrel to a vet or wildlife rescue as soon as you can so that it can get the care it needs to survive. If you would like each step read out in detail, say read steps.
Read steps.
Step 1. Be aware of the laws in your country or state first. Laws regarding care of wild animals vary widely from state to state in the U.S. and by country. Make sure that you learn whether or not it is legal for you to set up an environment for a squirrel before you begin. For example, while red squirrels are a protected species in the UK, it is illegal to rehabilitate an injured gray squirrel because they are considered an invasive species. Anyone who finds an injured gray squirrel in the UK is required by law to humanely destroy the squirrel. In some states in the US, you may only be allowed to provide care for a wild animal if you have a permit to do so. You may also be required to alert the State Department of Fish and Wildlife. Try calling your local animal control center to ask about whether or not it is legal for you to care for a wild squirrel. To continue, say next.
Next.
Step 2. Make a shelter for your squirrel. If you find a wild squirrel injured outside and it is legal for you to help the squirrel, then make sure to provide him with a proper shelter. Wild squirrels do not carry rabies as a rule, but it is possible for any warm-blooded animal to be infected, so be careful. If you are bitten, clean the wound out with some water and call your doctor for further treatment. Having the squirrel tested for diseases will result in the squirrel's death. However, if you don't have a cage, there are other options. Injured squirrels found in the wild tend to be babies. They often fall from nests or get lost from their mothers. A baby squirrel can be comfortable housed in a small box, such as a shoe box. You should leave the shoebox outside, away from other predators, and keep it open. This way, if he's lost, his mother will be able to find him and retrieve him. However, you can keep the shoebox in your garage or a closed-off room in your home if leaving the squirrel outdoors is not an option. If you intend to keep the squirrel long-term because a rehabber or wildlife rescue is not an option, you're going to need a lot of time and money. The first step is to get a cage. Adult squirrels need tall cages so they can move around and play. Baby squirrels need smaller cages so they don't climb and end up falling and hurting themselves. If you have an old cat cage or pet carrier, you could use this for a baby squirrel. If it's plastic, the squirrel will chew through it quickly. An old bird cage, at least 3 feet tall, might work very temporarily for an adult squirrel. You can also purchase animal cages of a variety of shapes and sizes at your local pet store. Critter/ferret nations are recommended for the small bar spacings and size. To continue, say next.
Next.
Step 3. Provide a nest box and bedding material. After finding a suitable container for the squirrel, you'll need to give him nest and bedding material. This helps him stay warm and comfortable and also mimics some of the conditions of his natural habitat. Squirrels enjoy building a nest for sleeping. Do not use cardboard as it dries out the skin and mucous membranes. Many pet stores sell nest boxes for birds for relatively low prices. These could work to keep your squirrel feeling warm and safe. Squirrels need to have a lot of bedding and padding to keep warm. However, be careful of what kind of materials you're using. Use old clothing, like old cotton or fleece shirts. However, stay away from towels or other items made of terry cloth or something similar. Squirrels can easily get their claws stuck in such materials, leading to injury. To continue, say next.
Next.
Step 4. Keep baby squirrels warm. If you found an injured baby squirrel, he needs to stay warm in order to survive. Wrap a hot water bottle or a heating pad in flannel or a similar material. Place it in the box or cage where you're keeping the baby squirrel. Do not cover the squirrel in any fabrics and do not put water in without wrapping it up first. This could cause the squirrel to overheat. If you use a heating pad, ensure it is non-auto shutoff and place it half under the box. To continue, say next.
Next.
Final step. Provide toys and other supplies. After your squirrel has settled in, It's nice to give him some toys and other supplies for his entertainment. The transition from the wild to someone's home will be jarring. You want to make sure your squirrel is entertained. Small stuffed toys for children can be great toys for squirrels. Just make sure to remove any plastic parts, like plastic eyes or noses, before letting the squirrel play with it. Only give a squirrel stuffed toys that use natural stuffing. Squirrels can choke on beans or bead-like materials sometimes used to stuff toys. Hanging toys, like mobiles or cat toys with feathers on the end, can also be fun for squirrels. If you're keeping your squirrel until release, consider installing some kind of perch in his cage if he's older. Squirrels like to be able to climb. You can buy bird perches at a local pet store and install them in your squirrel's cage. Okay, you've reached the end of the article. To hear it again from the beginning, ask how to take care of a wild squirrel. Or, you can ask how to do something else. What would you like to do?
Exit.